Hey there. Sorry I missed the last couple days, but this is Mason with Ace Role Playing Games. That stands for Achieve, Create, and Entertain, where we're gaming for good. I am the founder and host of the local Mythos Games, friendly local gaming store, Ace Role Playing Club, and I am working at getting a second sponsor so that way I can take a day off or something once in a while. But most of the time I'm planning on being there because I love going and helping you as my hope goes to help you teenagers to find joy in telling a collective story that doesn't necessarily need to get bound down by electronics. So today, as I'm getting ready to take some time and pack up more of the stuff you can see behind me, because there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be removed from the house before we move in the next couple months. And well, we gotta sell the house first, and part of that is going to be getting this stuff, including my awesome bookshelf here, out of the house, so that way we can let people imagine their own stuff in the spaces. And to a degree, that's kind of what we do as role players. Is we imagine ourselves in that scenario and think how we might act if we do that. So if you see me looking off to the side, it's because I do have 3 monitors, and I'm actually going to talk you through a little bit about I signed up and actually paid for a lesson with Storytelling Collective this summer to write my first adventure in the 31 days of July. If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. But I'm writing my original idea for a setting called The Dark Days of Neverland. And the basic idea is that your characters are summoned back to Neverland, having been there previously in their lives at some point, so they can be grown-ups or children. And you are summoned back to restore Neverland to its beauty and fun. Because in this world, Peter Pan, no one knows where he is. A lich has taken over and has corrupted almost everything in Neverland, including turning the Lost Boys and a new, at least militant girl unit that I created called the Wendy Birds into goblins that are creating a pollution for the atmosphere and polluting the seas, and they've created a substance called Bleck. So that's going to be a second here. $3.18. I'll have to make a note about cutting that spot. But anyway, I'm actually writing down the time signature. Anyway, so that's kind of the premise, and actually the spellcaster who summons you back is a now much weakened, hookless Captain Hook. He and the few pirates with him are the only vestige left of the original Neverland, and now they are under threat from the Bleck, under threat from the evils of the oceans, led by the undead evil, corrupted mermaids and mermen, and the denizens at their command, like sharks and a kraken, and even an undying elemental. And then there are werewolf Indians that prowl the lands. There are, like I said, the Lost Boys and the Wendy Birds have all been corrupted. The pirates are either controlled by Bleck or completely just creatures of shadow and darkness. And at the center of all this is the Lich Lord himself, who I'm not going to reveal in this video, but he does have a tie to Neverland. And he also has Tinkerbell captive basically in a magic 8-ball, and he has her be an oracle for him. So there are several different things that your players would have to do in order to restore Neverland. That's the basic idea of the plot point campaign. I am using Savage Worlds for doing this, and they are not my sponsor, but I do include them in my show notes below because, hey, it's still, in my opinion, the greatest role-playing game system out there. Shane Hensley did himself proud. Shout out to Shane. You're just awesome, and I'm glad that we've been able to chat a few times. I'm glad that we're at least peripheral friends, and I hope to be able to become better friends with you. And I love all my... I have to say that the Savage Worlds community is what makes role-playing games work for me. Because in the Savage Worlds community, I've always been accepted. I've always had amazing opportunities. And I just love you guys. Mwah! Big old slobbery Bugs Bunny kiss to you all. So right now, I am working on my... If I can get this not to glare, there you go. I'm working on my mind map and my outlining for my adventure. Now, the first adventure, the first chapter of the plot point campaign is going to be Dark Water, or Waters of the Dark Lagoon, or something like that. I've actually had some really great... the black actually materialized as I was writing down some of the background stuff for this in the ideation parts. When I was talking about settings, the setting of the adventure on day 5. Now I'm actually doing days 8 and 9 today, although I might not finish both of them in this sitting, just because I still do need to pack a lot of things, and I'm going to. But I just really was excited about this and realized I hadn't done a video in a couple days, and I want to get in the habit of maybe even doing short or just not too long videos every day to just kind of help bring your game mastering skills up. So one of the things that I want to talk about, since I've already brought up outlining, let's talk about outlining. And if you, or not outlining, but like mind mapping at least, if you are not doing gaming on the fly, which I've done a lot of, so I got really good at that impromptu. Well, let me just put it this way: in Savage Worlds, if you suddenly need an NPC, you just give them 6s in everything, give them 8 at what they're really good at, give them 8 in a attribute that they're really good at, and call them good. Call it good. You're done. That's all you got to do. You just got to say, I've done this. It's done. Oh, good heavens. I've had my headset on. I just realized that I knocked my dongle out. It's all fun games till you knock out your dongle. So let's plug this in. And there we go. That'll probably give better audio quality to this whole thing. So, impromptu GMing is fun. And I've had to do that with a couple of the con games that I have run. And those con games can be a blast. However, if you have the time to prepare, then do prepare. Sometimes that's 5 minutes. And I do highly recommend the blog Gnome Stew. I guess they have some ties here in Utah because I picked up their books, and one of them is the plots. I've got that here on my computer, but one of them has over 1,000 plots in it, and just and this is also useful for if you have something planned that your players get through faster than you planned, then you can quickly say, hold that thought, and run to the bathroom and just say, oh please, oh please, oh please, and then you're able to just jump out and go back to work and bring the players through the rest of the adventure. So let's see. Yeah, it's called Eureka, 501. There it is. 501 adventure plots to inspire game masters. Their other books include Never Unprepared, Odyssey, Focal Point, Unframed, and Masks. That's the 1,000. I knew there was one with 1,000. That's Masks is the one with 1,000 memorable NPCs for any role-playing game. So those are handy books, and that's a 6 set of books that I would recommend you get. Again, not sponsored. Actually, Never Unprepared is one that goodness, I've got a lot of stuff that I want to read. It's just that life has not been kind to letting me get the reading in that I want to do. And that's okay. That's just life. You work. Just always remember, fun and art serve life, not the other way around. We have fun when we can, where we can, so that we can appreciate those moments while we otherwise do the things that need to get done. So foregoing doing your chores, especially since these videos are primarily for teens, foregoing doing your chores over playing a video game or playing a role-playing game with your friends or going somewhere with your friends is not more important. If you have your chores done and they're out of the way, then you can go and have fun and not have to stress about it. And that, yes, is advice from an old guy, a dad guy, coming to you unsolicited, but hey, I think you guys could all develop and learn from it. I mean, goodness knows my kids still can, and goodness knows I still can. I admit, even as a grown-up, there are times where you're just like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go have fun, and you end up getting a mess that piles up that kind of gets out of control, and then you have to spend a whole Saturday cleaning it up instead of just the few minutes it would have taken to clean up when you initially made it. So I still do that. I'll be the first to admit that I still do that. And so does my wife, so all of us grown-ups do it, but we all can keep trying to get better. And that's part of the reason why maybe it might be a good idea, and this is for role-playing as well, maybe it might be a good idea to write out Post-it notes. Get a stack of Post-it notes or a pad. And when you have an idea, because let's face it, most of us that role play are either ADHD or something like that we just are like, oh, that's cool. Let's go follow that. And we get completely distracted from what we're doing or are doing or need to do. And it is fun. And we get that endorphin rush and we go off and take care of that. But what we need to do is learn to temper that so that we can actually accomplish things. Because my failure at GMing on Tuesday this last week, and I even posted the video on the way home from the game store, because I count that one as one of my failures. And failure's okay. That's a thing. Failure is okay. But that failure made me realize that I wasn't in the game either. And I let those kids down. And so I ask their forgiveness, and I also ask all of you to bear with me as I get this channel up and going, as I do crazy, silly things. And that's one thing that I am going to have to ask myself as I write Dark Days of Neverland, because I've always been in my writing so serious, but I want it to be fun as well. So I'm going to have to ask myself, what kind of silly things can things get up to? What kind of hijinks and chases and fun could be included? And so that goes back to what I was going to say before. You can have impromptu gaming. Impromptu gaming is just, and Savage Worlds is one of the best systems for doing impromptu gaming, because I could just say right now, okay, here's my Savage Worlds book. I'm going to turn to this back section with the bestiary. I'm going to have 5 skeletons ready to go, and you guys have all your characters, and I want you to just have a D6 and everything, and then a D8 and something you're good at. So it could be fighting. And then you could decide what fighting it is. That's a cool thing about Savage Worlds that a lot of games kind of miss. And that is, fighting is fighting is fighting. So you could be a martial artist, and you over here, you could be a sword fighter. And you over here, you could be a knife fighter. And you over here could be a barroom brawler who's actually really good at fighting. Or whatever. And then we go for it. As long as we have enough dice to play, we're good. That's Savage Worlds. And the nice thing, though, is the preparation makes things a little easier. Now, I just actually got the Fear Agent basically box set. It's not quite the box set, but it's all of the stuff. And this is the one from the plot point campaign from the GM screen called Feeding Time. And it gives all the background in it. It gives some sample adventures that can happen in the story. And it has a list of Savage Tales. And then that's what it looks like. Actually, this is it looks like it's a series of adventures. So it's not quite a plot point campaign, but that's quite all right. That's not, and the point is that a plot point campaign, like I'm doing with Dark Days of Neverland, is a set of chapters in a story essentially. And remember, they're plots, but they're not stories. We are not scripting the answers. We're scripting the problems that we're giving our players. And that's what we do as game masters. Like one wise game master that I heard on his podcast years and years ago said, we are the problems department, not the solutions department. The players are the solution department. They're the ones who figure out how to solve it. So, that said, hey, get out there, create a great story together, have some fun, and remember that fun serves life. And that being said, I'm going to go pack the crap in that corner out to my car and drive it over to the storage unit so we can make our house easier to work with to the point that we can sell it. So, until next time, and I'm hoping that's tomorrow, this is Mason Emerson with Ace Role-Playing Games. And, I'll leave you with a dad joke. My friend Ron Blessing does that at the end of every one of his podcasts, and I have a little over 100 of them that I have access to through him, and there's websites and everything like that, but this is one of my favorite ones recently. Why did the police arrest the bottled water? Because it was wanted in 3 states. Solid, liquid, and gas. Anyway, that's my dad joke, science joke of the day. And I just want to say I love you all. Thank you for trusting me to teach you how to game master. Thank you for trusting me to teach you how to be a better player. And thanks for just putting up with me. Till next time, Mason Emerson, Ace Role Playing Games. And remember, we're gaming for good.